Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This is the TCL P7K, in this case the 65-inch size. First thing I want to highlight is the design of the remote. For me it is much better compared to the last year's model, because the last year's remote it had some ugly or awful key location, while on the new remote I think the key location is much more ergonomic, and on the grip it feels simply great. Other aspect I want to mention, which is really important not only for me but for most users, is the smoothness of this operating system. It is Android TV based on Android 12 with a customization layer Google TV. And as I'm going to show you with this app, the processor is an ARM Cortex A55 with 5 cores, with a CPU clock range, let's say relatively high, which is better, and all this improves the smoothness of the operating system when you, for example, want to open some apps or jump from an app to another app and open the videos, as I'm going to show you. The response time is much better compared to last year's models, for example, compared to the P755 or the C655. But of course, the smoothness of the operating system, it is also due to the Wi-Fi reception that you can get in your home. If, for example, the download speed of the internet connection of your house is terrible, then the smoothness of the operating system will be terrible too. TCL TVs for these years bring us this menu with these useful shortcuts, and if you press the OK button for some seconds, you can change the placement of these icons as you wish, which for me and for most people is one of the most useful things you can get on TCL smart TVs these years. And also you can add some other shortcuts as you wish, for example these options. And also I want to mention this TV has this option, which for me and for many people is really useful, which is this audio only mode. That indicates that the screen will turn off but the audio will still keep on playing, as I'm going to show you. You push this option, press OK button and listen. Only the volume buttons will work, and if you press another key, the image will show up. I also want to tell you that the amount of memory RAM is 2 GB, which is more than okay for an entry-level or almost mid-range model, and the internal storage total space is more or less 8.7 MB, which is, let's say, okay for an entry-level or starting mid-range model. As I said, the processor is the most convenient and most highlighting thing on this smart TV, which is the thing that makes smoothness of the operating system be much better compared to last year's TVs. And it has the GPU renderer Mali G57, which is not bad at all. In this smart area, you must know that this option TCL will lead you to the TCL channel application, which will show you some content according to every region, every country. The language will change also according to every country. I have tested this app. I cannot show you too many content because of the copyright problems, but it works really great. And you also can install the apps you can find here in the App Store, and also you can install APK files in case you need it. This TV also, as almost every TV with Google TV as operating system, has the option of the ambient mode. Here you can find it, ambient mode. It will show you, for example, Google Photos or your pictures, and you also can change here the side shot speed, for example, from 5 seconds to 10 minutes. And if you enable this option, start now, you also can change the picture manually in case you want to. Here on system, then about, you can see the Android TV OS version, which is 12, as I already said. And in terms of the storage, here you can see total internal shared storage is 9 gigabytes, but here you can see the available storage 6.5 gigabytes. This is the out of the box internal storage you can count on for installing some apps. The screen mirroring function, it is also available. You can use your smart TV. The good thing is that you don't have to use an external app in order to achieve this function. However, this TV does not support picture-in-picture, not overlay screen, not multi-view functionality. Now, in terms of picture quality, you must know that this TV has an LCD screen with a pixel layout known as HVA. I mean, it is not a conventional UVA panel, it is not a conventional vertical alignment pixel configuration. However, when I took the picture of the pixels, well, it looks like a conventional UVA configuration. However, when I reviewed the viewing angles of this TV, I can say that the results are much better compared to a conventional UVA panel, and actually the results are really similar to what you can find on an ADS panel, almost reaching the results of an IPS panel. But of course, in terms of viewing angles, an IPS panel will be much better. But as I said, the results of this TV in this area are much better compared to a conventional UVA panel. You must keep in mind that this TV has the color technology known as quantum dot, and I also want to tell you that the amount of brightness that I took was by using this movie picture mode, which is recommended by experts, and I took the brightness measurements by using some percentage of the window with a white screen, of course with HDR enabled. And I can tell you the brightness amount of this TV, the amount of brightness of this TV is, let's say, more than okay for most users, keeping in mind that this TV is not exactly an upper mid-range model, but let's say a lower mid-range model or an upper entry-level model, so to speak. Again, as I said, the results in terms of brightness and colors are more than okay. You can go here to where let's display and sound, picture. You can modify some things like the brightness, of course. Here in color you can find this parameter known as dynamic color, which if you disable it, it will show, let's say, more natural colors, and if you enable this option, you will appreciate some more saturated colors, and the color saturation capacity of this model is simply outstanding. You also, of course, can change the color temperature in case you want to, in case you need to. You also can find an option here, this eye health protection. If you enable this option, this is for making your eyes suffer less from fatigue, but the picture will look too much yellow. And of course you can apply some other settings. I'm showing you the out-of-the-box configuration of this P7K. keep that in mind. You can pay for a calibrator to do the job, but I can tell you that you won't notice real changes, and maybe you will regret spending that kind of money, but you're free to do it if you want to. In terms of the dark scenes performance, let's say that it is not perfect, but it is much better compared to a TV with an ADS or IPS panel. You can perceive some clouding effect, but it is not annoying. The level of details is really good. The results may vary according to every picture mode, every scene, and also if the scene has some high dynamic range technology such as Dolby Vision, HDR10 or HDR10 Plus or HLG, and if the content, for example, is on a standard dynamic range, let's say the clouding effect would lower a little but still be kind of noticeable. But as I said, it is not annoying, it is not a terrible amount of clouding you will notice. And I remind you, this TV is an entry, let's say an upper entry level model or a lower mid-range model, and the backlighting technology is a conventional direct LED. It is not a full array direct LED. It is not a TV with the local dimming function. You must keep that in mind. It is really important. Talking about the gray uniformity this TV has, let's say the dirty screen effect, it is not so noticeable, it is not so annoying. Let's say the corners of the screen make look a little darker compared to the rest of the screen, but when you watch content with much color volume, I can say that the dirty screen effect and the screen corners dark will not be something annoying, will not be something really noticeable. Talking about the image upscaling, you must understand that none of the current 4K TVs will show you a 4K result if the resolution of the content is really low. However, if that is the case, this TV performs in a pretty decent way. Another important thing of this kind of TVs is the motion handling you can perceive, for example, by reducing the judder effect. As you can see, this scene has a very good result by reducing the judder effect. You can go here to motion clarity. You must enable this if you want better results. Also dynamic acceleration, but if you decide to enable this nature cinema, the results, as you can see, are simply terrible. You will notice a lot of judder effect, and this is because many movie enthusiasts prefer this result because it's more similar to what you will perceive in a traditional movie, so to speak, and this will avoid artifacts. So if you want the best results decreasing the judder effect, you must increase the up to 10, enable motion clarity, and enable dynamic acceleration. And this way, every scene will look much more smoother with almost no judder effect. And the artifacts are really minimum. It is not something annoying. What about the gaming performance? Well, the first thing you must do is go here to settings, open the settings option, then go here to channels and inputs, external inputs, then here HDMI mode. You must click here on because sometimes it comes out of the box on auto or off. Then click on, then return to the input where you connected your video games console. Then you must go to your console menu. Here, for example, this is the Xbox Series X. Here, settings. Well, it's in Spanish because it's my birth language, I'm sorry. Here you must enable everything is possible with this TV, including Dolby Vision for gaming if you want to, variable refresh rate technologies. You must keep in mind that this TV supports 120Hz but only up to 1440p, not in 4K. In 4K only up to 60Hz. Then you can return to your video game. Open this menu. You must enable the game mode in case it didn't enable it automatically. In this case, automatically enable this game mode with Dolby Vision in this case. And you also must enable the game master. Now, if you want to, you can make appear on the screen a game bar by pressing this button for some seconds. This game bar will show up. You can go here to menu, here on theme style, and you can change the style of the game bar between these three options in case you want to: blue, green, or cartoon. I prefer the green option. It's up to you guys. The HGIG or HDR gaming interest group technology cannot be enabled because I'm using the Dolby Vision high dynamic range technology. You can also make the screen ratio appear on the screen in case you want to hertz. You can also make an aiming aid appear on the screen. You can change the color, the form, the position if you need to, which can be useful for some first-person shooters video games. You have this shadow enhancement in case you need a better level of details in some video games, can be very useful. And of course, the game picture modes this game bar supports. It is the same picture modes than the last year's models. Only 3 picture modes. Well, let's say it's not bad, taking into account that many TVs don't even have game bar, don't even have picture modes, only the game mode. Now, the performance in general in this gaming area of this smart TV is one of the best you can find right now with a lower budget. Of course, there are many TVs with a better performance in terms of, for example, the frame rate, also with a higher amount of brightness, with a better dark scenes performance, but those TVs tend to cost much more money. This is one of the best TVs you can get with the best value for money. And let's say that the input lag of this TV, I don't know exactly which is the time, but I can say maybe 10 milliseconds compared to another TVs that I have reviewed until now and that I know their input lag times. I can say in practice the input lag of this TV is simply great. I also need to tell you that I don't know the response times of this TV, but I can tell you that the performance with the video games that has a lot of dark scenes and occasional fast movements is really good. I mean, you can perceive some slight ghosting effect, but it is not something annoying, it is not something terrible. Maybe a professional gamer may notice some more of the ghosting effect, but for a, let's say, not so demanding user, not so demanding gamer, the results of this TV in the dark scenes performance of video games is more than okay. Now, in order to finish, do I recommend you this TV or not? Of course, I recommend you this smart TV. As I said already, it is one of the best value for money models you can get right now. Talking about their speaker system, it is not the most powerful you can find on the market at this moment, but the performance is more than okay. In a few seconds, I will show you with a test with the speakers so you can more or less notice how it will performance in real life. Then this TV, as a disadvantage, only has the usual, which is the performance in dark scenes, which is not perfect because the direct LED backlighting technology does not allow that, because this TV hasn't a local dimming function. Nevertheless, the results, keeping in mind this TV is an upper entry level or lower mid-range model, is more than okay for most people who has a low budget. And of course, remember, the smoothness of the operating system of this smart TV is much better compared to last year's models. Now, please let me know at the comment section down below what you think about this smart TV. Will you buy it? Yes or not, and why? Or if you already have it, what do you think about it? Do you really recommend it, or you prefer purchasing another TV from TCL or another brand? You can support me by clicking on the like button if you like this video, also subscribing if you haven't already, and enable the notification bell so you can notice, so you can know every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.